Michael, what's the last week been like?
Very good, actually. We've had it's training's been really good. The boys have worked hard. Had a really good balance between getting some good training and getting some good work in, and the boys are also having a little bit of time away, which is important. So in good shape. Looking forward to what's next.
As the last couple of weeks, has this been your hardest spell of management? You're still quite new to it, but has this been the most difficult period?
Not particularly, no. I think we go about it in the same way. Of course, we're here to win games, and that in some ways changes the mood. But really, it's no, because I'm convinced and believe in the players that much that we keep doing the things we're doing largely, and we keep doing the right things. Then we'll be okay. So. No, I've quite enjoyed the last couple of weeks actually, and the working with the players and seeing the improvement and looking forward to what's coming up.
You mentioned a couple of times after games and before games about the change, big numbers of changes in terms of the players that have gone, the new players that have come in. What do you have to do to kind of change results? What do you do with so many new members of your squad?
That's just part of developing the team and individuals really, and training is a part of it, off the field's part of it in terms of meetings and getting across our points and our beliefs and how we want to play, and sometimes that takes time, sometimes it clicks straight away. It doesn't hinder kind of my belief, or doesn't knock that at all in what we're capable of. I've said that enough, and but of course there's no hiding from it. We need results, of course we do, but I believe we'll get that if we keep doing the right thing and putting in, largely, as I said, the performances that we've done have deserved a hell of a lot more out of them than we've got. So that's why I'm looking forward.
Coach Cressy was speaking about the women's team playing at the Riverside at the weekend, hoping for 3,000. Just what do you think about the interest that the women's game is having over the last couple of years with the success of the national team?
I think it's fantastic. I think it's obvious to us all that the game is growing and as it should. And I think the exposure, obviously the national team doing so well, and the exposure and I think it's fantastic. The more support we can give and the help that we can give it makes it even better for them.
How useful has it been to have the international break, given the difficult start to the season?
I'd say useful or not, we've made the best of it. Probably prefer to be playing games just as much as anything. That's what we're here for. So we've made the most of the break, if you like, in terms of the work and the rest and getting the right balance. But and boys that have just come into the club within the last couple of weeks, give them a chance to settle a little bit. But I'd much rather be playing games.
And you talked there about giving the new lads a chance to settle. What's that process of bedding in involved? You've obviously been a player and a manager.
It's a little bit of everything, really. It's for some of the boys, it's a change of country. Some of them, it's a change of area. Some, it's not always on the pitch. The boys are human beings and they've got families and individuals that they need to kind of look after as well. And I think we get so desperate for them to perform and almost robotic that they should be at the best all the time. And it doesn't always work like that. But at the same point, it is what it is, and there's a process of they need to kind of fit in and get to know the other players is one thing. It's such a good environment to come into. I think if you ask any of the boys, they've settled quickly because of the staff and the backroom staff and how they've been looked after. So there's a whole raft of things really that goes into it. And then there's time on the training pitch and getting to know how we play our football and what we expect of them. So as I said, sometimes that takes a little bit longer, sometimes it clicks straight away. Everyone's different, but the boys that have came in will be fine and they'll do great for us.
Has the difficult start to the Championship, has that surprised you at all?
I know the league, it's a tough league. It's a tough league. Results wise it's been difficult, performances wise there's been a lot of good things, so it hasn't gone quite our way. But you got to stay level, we level when you win, level when it doesn't go to plan, and you got to judge the performance and what's what's the common factors in it, what's the performance like over time, do we believe in it, do we stick with it, do we think we need to do better and change certain things. But you got to be quite level when you're judging that, and week to week doesn't certainly change how we see football and what we believe in. So we're pretty calm and actually excited and looking forward to the games coming up.
Yes, and just finally, what do you expect from your trip to Blackburn?
We certainly expect a tough game. They definitely make you defend. They're expansive. They attack in numbers and attack very quickly. So they've got some really good players. I know they didn't have the result they wanted last time up, but they probably didn't deserve that. And they had some chances as well that they could have easily taken. So they're very dangerous, very expansive. Really a tough game for us. It was last year. We managed to come out on top last year. And hopefully it'll be something similar, but I'm sure it'll be a tight game either way.
Injury-wise, how are you looking? Marcus missed a QPR game.
Yeah, Marcus is he's trained the last day or so because he missed his international call up. So yeah, we're seeing the boys who have come back. Really, we're getting to grips with who's all right. You hear that they're all right, but until they actually come back, sometimes you wait to see how they travel and how they get back. So hopefully we'll have more to choose from than we did last time.
And how are Tommy out?
I'm still a little bit further off. Tommy's just starting to train. Whether it's too soon for him or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Was that the issue he had in the summer, Tommy, or is it a threat?
Same one, yeah. Similar one, yeah.
And Matt Clark, obviously pictured back in training. How's he?
Yeah, brilliant for Clark. He's obviously been out for a long period of time, and to have him back around the group and managing his training load, and after so long out, it's important we look after him as well and do the right things, and we're patient. So we're delighted to have him back around and training with the boys and managing him through his next steps. Really.
Game wise, is it still too early?
Yeah, he's been out a long period of time, and he's still managing his training. Yeah.
On a personal level for him, how difficult is that? Because from what I gather, the injury wasn't as clear cut as you've done this. You're going to be out for 7 or 8 months. So when there's that uncertainty and the frustration, how difficult is it to deal with, and how has he dealt with it?
Yeah, I say fortunate for myself. I never really had to go through a period of time like that where I was out of the game when I was playing. I've seen it obviously a number of times, and Clark dealt with it ever so well. You know, he's so driven and so positive, and desperate to keep doing the right things to give himself the best chance. And when you got someone like that, it's important you manage it as right as well, because as footballers you're all desperate to be back fit and as soon as possible. And when it is such a long period of time, there's got to be a balance in that. But it's not been easy for him, but he's dealt with it ever so well, and he's come through it, and he's coming through the other end now, which is fantastic to see. Great to see him back on the grass and just enjoying his football without any expectation from us, for sure. At this stage, it's just having him out most days and building that up is great to see.
I know obviously there you were saying you want to play games, you want games, but did the break come at a good time, at the right time?
I don't really see it like that, to be honest. I think we're take it or leave it. You know, it is what it is. We make the best of it, as I've said before, and I think there's a lot of good things in our game, and our eyes tell us that. Kind of the stats side of it backs it up as well, and we'll believe it's fine margins, you know, and we know the results is results. So you still got to take that as a huge importance. But over a period of time, we got to believe in what we're doing is the right thing, and game to game or a little spell doesn't really change that. So yeah, I'd much rather be playing games and trying to get points on the board and improving our performance.
And when you say there about the stats are telling you what you can see with your eyes, do you hammer that home with the players? I guess especially when they're younger players and the confidence might be a little bit more fragile. Do you hammer that home that if you keep doing what you're doing, things are going to change?
Of course, it's part of us to manage the group, manage the mood, manage the psychology to a point, and keeping the confidence and the belief there when it's right to be there. There's no point going and saying everything's fine when it's not fine, so there's a balance with that. But largely, as I said, there's been a lot of good things, and the boys are trying to do the right things and getting some success in it. So not always the success that we feel we've deserved, but enough in there for really encourage for me and the staff and the group and the players. They're in a good place, and look forward to what's coming up.
And again, I know obviously what's done is still important, but is there a feeling now after the break, the window's closed, so your squad's in shape, that the season starts now almost? You put behind what's happened, it's a fresh start.
Yeah, honestly, we're calm. It's we're looking forward to the next game. Really, it's irrespective of what's gone on. The boys are in a good place and training well and positive, and yeah, it's not the be all and end all. Then how the season starts or what's gone on put up behind us or anything like that. It's just, carry on how we're going, keep improving, keep pushing, keep working hard, and believing in the things that we're doing will work for us.
And just ask about Hayden, obviously first experience with England under 21s. How did you find it?
I think he enjoyed it. I think if you watch the game, see how much he enjoyed it. I thought he was the best player on the pitch by quite some way, to be honest. And I was delighted for him. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's played like that for us now for a long period of time. So I wasn't surprised. Every time he needs to take a step up, he kind of naturally steps up when his performance levels go up. So I thought he did that. So it was a really good, night. It was probably afternoon over there, but for him and his family, which I was delighted for them and proud to see him do so well.
And obviously he's played for Scotland under 21s. Has he made a decision then on his future?
He's playing for England now at the moment, so I take it that's Hayden's decision. It's he's his own man, and he's got his own aspirations in that respect. I'm here to guide him and help him as best as we can.
And sorry, just finally from me, a couple of weeks of the signings, and the last time we spoke to you, probably just after Lewis and Salmon, just before Alex, how are they settled? What will they offer? How have they done so far? Yeah,
they've settled well. Probably in terms of not having the games and being able to settle down without that, it's probably helped them in some ways. Being around a group, and it takes them a few days and what have it to the surroundings as much as the football, really. So yeah, delighted to have them. We got a good squad. We'll need good numbers throughout the season. It's a long season. We got a busy period coming up, so everyone will play their part at some point.
Thank you.
You go, Rob.
Yeah, going on the two new loan players that came in, they're obviously coming on the pitch in quite difficult circumstances for their debut, but they really got stuck in straight away. They're obviously going to bring quite a bit of experience to the group now, aren't they?
Yeah, there's an element of experience. There's obviously an element of quality and adding to the group, and we feel we got a good balance and good numbers for sure. We've definitely got good numbers, and we got good variety as well. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm to seeing how the players settle in, to seeing what they can offer to the group, and for the boys that have been here for some time now to show what they're capable of as well.
And you mentioned Hayden actually playing under 21s. Obviously, often we ask you to say that the international break is a time that you can get everyone together, but apart from the players that go away from internationals, but do those players like Hayden come back with having learned things that they can bring to Borough?
Yeah, well, it was a big week for Hayden. Obviously, he's under 21. It was a big week for Rav, playing 2 games for Holland under 21s. Great to see that. Another big step for Rav and Sammy making his debut for Australia. It's shows we've got some good players here, some good young players for sure, but some good players in general. So it's that in itself shows the place they're in individually, and bringing that confidence, that energy back, and that's bringing a step and looking forward to it and being part of the group again. So it's there's definitely positives for them to take individually, and you can see that when they come back in. That little bit kind of taller and that little bit more positive, and it's fantastic to see.
Blackburn, they're always difficult to go to at Ewood Park, but there'll be once again a really big away following. Does that help to level it up a bit?
Yeah, it certainly helps us to have support in numbers. I've said it many times, and I'll never get tired of saying it, of how good our support is in away from home and travelling in numbers and selling out the allocation week in, week out, midweek, weekends. Something we don't take for granted at all. And on that, I wouldn't say we go into the game desperate, but we're certainly really keen to give the supporters that result and on the road to send them home happy and make it worth the journey, the journey worthwhile, because they certainly deserve it for the numbers and the level of support that we get.